and be shopping. We're live, Barry.
Oh shit.
Oh.
There we go. Look at these heads. Hey. So I was talking about the cat mummies, right?
Oh, cat mummies. Yeah, let's open with that.
Okay. So it's like the Saqqara tomb in Egypt.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's like the whole village is built around like working archaeological like stuff on this site. Like there's a ton of jobs circulating there. Like that's what they do. The tomb's there, so a lot of people have found jobs doing that. So there's like a whole team of people right now, or at least that are just there finding all these mummified cats. Just very, daintily brushing dust off these giant Egyptian cats.
And are they in structures?
Yeah, like inside pyramids, like.
So they're excavating the grounds of some, ruins and pyramids and what have you.
Yeah.
And they're finding a bunch of cats that were mummified and preserved and then stored along with, we're assuming, royalty of the day.
Yeah, and I'm assuming they're just his cats. And I just think maybe I don't know. Are we just looking at like a crazy cat person, or was something going on with cats?
Because people don't do that now. They don't usually include the family dog in the burial plot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No.
And I'm not really for the preserving of the actual vessel. Personally,
No.
and a lot of people I know, we'd rather be cremated and then made, impermanent somewhere, because think about it. They've been burying people for thousands of years, and there's nobody that was ever buried under my house ever. You're saying ever?
Oh.
I don't want a bunch of money hungers to hire a bunch of Cubans to dig me out once it's been 200 years and they know no one's coming to look for me.
Yeah.
And I only say Cubans because I actually saw that on the news one time. They were interviewing a Cuban guy who was like, they made me dig up these bodies that were people that were dead for a long time and nobody cared. So we dug them up so they could bury new people there. Not me, Jesus.
No, I want to be there's these tree pods. Like you can put yourself in this pod. It's like with a seed attached or a fruiting body of some sort, and this tree grows from your
Did
body.
Did you just
pod.
say a fruiting body?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's biology, motherfucker. I actually don't know if that's 100% true for all trees. Is a fruiting body necessary for plant reproduction?
Brother, that's something you got to take up with Miss Siri.
There's got to be different. There's asexual plants. That's what. Oh wait, no, that's the whole point.
What?
I don't know. Like a dandelion doesn't have to be
Male or female?
Yeah, but there must be. I don't know. I don't know how plants work.
Yeah, I took a class on this once. Something about they germinate. But isn't it a male part of the plant and a female part of the plant? And they're part of the same plant?
So yeah, like a plant could be the male and the female.
Like one tree would germinate male components, let's say, that would then travel to other trees to be received by those trees' female components. Meanwhile, that first tree is going to be receiving some male input from another tree, correct? Am I making this up?
No, that sounds right.
Did they ever mummify a tree, Barry?
I don't think. Actually, yeah.
Did the Egyptians have petrified wood?
They did. A very weird petrified wood. I read something about this too. I can't.
That's going to be the thing today. It's going to be things Barry read once.
Things very well. Hold up.
I can feel it happening already. Every 90 seconds, bro. I read something about this. You're reading a lot, Barry. You're a literate guy.
I swear, it's not just me that just say I read something. You know, there's, I got my sources.
Yeah, I know. Hey, listen, I believe you. I believe all berries.
I just be on Reddit a lot. I don't know.
That's what it is. You know, I just don't feel like I know how to work Reddit because I feel like my opinion of it emotionally is that it's not as user friendly as like a Facebook or an Instagram. But I feel like that's just because I'm missing something.
You gotta
I like the
curate
old
it.
internet aesthetic of it and the whole like it's a message board vibe like from back in the day. Like, and I'm hip to that. And there's just you can find threads about anything. I mean, I don't know.
That's what's kind of cool about it, though. You find these like niche communities, and if it doesn't exist, like you can build it from there. Like, there's even a small like r/unicycle community, like, and it's not huge. Like, I could probably look it up right now.
Do you think Jeff Bezos uses Reddit to find people to take to space?
I mean, as much as one would use the Facebook or Twitter to find the same thing. I mean, there are some smart people on Reddit, but it's also like social media in a way, or at least like the comment section of the social media isolated.
Yeah, that's kind of my favorite part, though, is like when people
There's no profile.
When someone says something and then people just roast the fuck out of them.
Yeah, and it's kind of great. And
it's enjoyable is the word, I think. It's definitely enjoyable. Okay, let's start the show. So, welcome back to Jacob V Weekly. It's been a couple weeks. Get off me. Okay, you come over here and do it. You come over here and plug all this shit in. I was just telling Barry all this shit we got to plug in. Jesus. We want to invite you, as always, to, at the top of the show, to donate to Caddyshack of New Hamel, Illinois. That's Caddyshack IL on Facebook. You just type in at Caddyshack, CATTYSHACK IL on Facebook. Local cat rescue, the real deal kind of operation over there. Save a life or 9. Patreon. Barry, help me out. Patreon.com/JacobV. Patreon.com JACOBVI. Exclusive content every week, and it's the only way for you to really support this show because I'm not good at answering emails about Raid Shadow Legends. So even if I had an offer from them, I don't know I don't know what my status of that conversation is. Email really fell out when I abandoned my career in education to do whatever it is I do now. Stream Daddy is my new title at the Ethical Society. I do their stream there, manage their stream. Same easier here. For sure. That reminds me, I got to clip something for them. Thanks for reminding me of that, Barry.
Yeah.
Instagram. You can follow the show at Instagram at Jacob V Weekly on Instagram. You can call the show. We'll talk about that later. You can also email the show. We'll talk about that. Barry, did you drive here?
Yeah, I drove here.
I associate so much guilt with driving. Like,
yeah.
I'm a highly creative dude, so I worry all the time and like this. I have this anxiety and this imposter syndrome and this struggle with my impulses and low self-esteem and whatnot since the beginning of whenever. And I'm driving and I'm picturing myself having to defend my driving to other people around me. I'm seeing traffic. Like, for example, I'm sitting in traffic thinking, like, me and this blue Chevy Spark are going to pull over, and we're going to sit down, and we're going to talk about, listen, I didn't make that red light because the guy in front of me barely made it. I mean, I don't want to run a yellow. I'm a cannabis patient in the suburbs right now, and I'm trying to get this fried chicken back home, and I have no evidence of actually doing anything wrong or even upsetting anybody, but I'm in my head, I'm in therapy with these people, mediating our traffic experience, and they don't even have to do anything. They didn't even look upset. They knew we weren't going to make that light.
I hate driving arguments.
But that's the thing. I've never even had one.
You've never had one?
I've never had to actually yell at someone about my driving.
Have you never experienced road rage?
Not in the way that things were really exchanged. I mean, I've been given the finger once or twice.
Oh man, I've had a couple where like Like I had a dude that was like following me out of a neighborhood, and he like whipped up to the side of me, and just started like yelling. Fucking...
You know what? One time on my way to work, I had a guy who I came up behind him at one point, like a mile and a half into my commute, and then. But then he ends up keep trying to stay right next to me, which freaks me out because I feel like he's going to shoot me. And then at one point, like he's taking all the same turns I'm doing. He keeps trying to like, I'll speed up and then he'll speed up and then I'll slow down because I don't want to be parallel to him. And then he'll slow down. And at one point I like completely stopped to see if I can get him to go away. And he completely stopped. I had enough though. I dove into this little neighborhood there. And then he didn't follow me that way. I don't know what he wanted. I don't know if maybe he was going to ask for money for all I know. But it was so weird. So, I mean, I don't know if that was a road rage thing, but I reacted as if the potential for violence was there. You know what I mean? I got to get low. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I got to bounce out.
It's always possible. You never know.
Imagine the possibilities.
The possibilities. Is that a pasta house?
I think that's one of their slogans.
No, wait, actually?
Oh, yeah. Imagine the possibilities.
Oh, man. That is so clever.
That's really good.
That's
I
great.
say it all the time.
That's amazing.
Not even about pasta.
My family used to go there all the time.
We used to hit up this pasta. We had a pasta house Pronto, which was like a quick serve version, and I used to smash that. Something fierce. I'd go to Pasta House right now though and bash out. I'd get the Parmesan with the white pasta.
Oh yeah.
All you can eat salad, bitch.
Dude,
Why is that salad
rolls,
so good?
The salad. It's because they put the balsamic. It's like a.
It's not balsamic.
No, not
but
balsamic.
It's like an Italian
What is
dressing,
it?
but it's so wet. It's a wet salad.
Yeah.
It's not dressed to order. It's dressed in batches. It's wet.
And they also put tons of Parmesan in it too.
Yeah, it's fucking.
It all sticks to the lettuce and shit.
And the lettuce really doesn't have any real nutritional value.
Artichokes. That's what's in it.
There are artichoke hearts.
The artichoke hearts.
You get like one of those per scoop.
Yeah.
Per hefty scoop. I just spent fucking 30 minutes at the fucking deli counter. Our republic has collapsed and we're all doomed, Barry.
What? 30 minutes?
Brother, I was in the grocery store and I went to the little kiosk, little iPad on the wall, and I put in my Boar's Head order, and then I went and I did the rest of my shopping. And I came back and then stood at the deli counter for 30 minutes.
Damn.
I got jumped a whole bunch. The volume was just crazy.
So
it scares me.
What'd you get from the deli though?
I just needed I got a pound of smoked Gouda and I got half a pound of the Ever Roast chicken, or maybe it was the Oven Gold turkey, one of those two.
Ugh, yeah.
For the missus.
That's it. That's always good.
I mean, I wasn't getting ignorant. I didn't order a trough of head cheese or nothing.
Head cheese. Monkey brains.
Monkey brain? I don't think you could say that. What does that mean?
What?
What are you talking about?
What? Like,
monkey brains?
Yeah, like eating. You've never heard, like, we were talking about Egypt and stuff. There's. What?
I was waiting for you to explain the monkey brains.
I don't know. It's like
you died on me.
No, it's like a deli option.
They have that? Is it from a monkey?
Well, no, but sometimes no, there's not actually. You can't actually eat monkey brains, I don't think. I'm sure you can somewhere. Not that I'm condoning that. That's terrible. I think poaching is awful.
I'm sure people are eating monkeys.
Yeah, poaching monkeys too. It's just for sport.
Now, are there monkeys that you can eat?
I don't know.
I mean, are there monkeys that it's legal to eat?
I mean, it must be a thing somewhere. But is that...
Okay, I'll do it, Barry.
I mean, we eat cows.
Is there some place where you can legally eat a monkey?
Oh, yeah, I guess I could have done that.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I did it right. I don't know if I did. Look, this is the fucking boomer hour right here. Is there a place where I can legally eat monkey? What's the meat term for monkey? You know how chicken is poultry? What's monkey?
What kind of
Monkey
mammal?
meat is the flesh and other edible parts derived from monkeys, a kind of bush meat.
Bush meat.
The Congolese view monkey meat as an ordinary delicacy and a must-eat. So in Congo, we're talking about honeymooning in Africa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I really want to get in a cage in the ocean with a shark, but I don't know if we're going to go to a place where that's an option.
Never in my life would I do that.
You would think that, and then I got to the point where I imagined it really happening, and I imagined the fear, but then imagine the mania you would feel surviving it.
I mean,
like
that's
you
a
get
good
so
point.
scared. But what am I going to do? Piss in my wetsuit? I'm going in the ocean. The ocean is piss.
Dude, there's still no way.
The ocean is piss. I'm going to go to Africa. I'm going to swim with a shark,
Well, dude,
and I'm going
I
to
mean,
eat a monkey's brain.
All of the water,
Congo.
all of the water has been piss at some point, right?
How dare you?
Right? I mean,
No, I
with
think
all of
if
the
it,
life.
I think if it
pisses
if
and
it goes through the water cycle and then doesn't interact with piss when you before you sample it, it will be piss free.
Well, so you're saying
Because when the water evaporates, it leaves the piss particles behind, like the the sodiums and the glycerins and the whatnot, and it's just pure water that goes up into the atmosphere, and then it forms clouds. And I want to write a children's book about this. It's been a dream of mine to supplement my retirement. I really need to get on it.
wait about like
Just about the water cycle, not about piss.
okay, I was like
No.
pee in the water cycle.
No, not about how, guys, it's okay to drink tap water because it used to be piss, but it's not anymore. That's not the angle. You just got to make children's books educational about so many things now, and so you can't just write something about a bear that loves his mom. Like that's not gonna. I mean, there's got to be trauma. There's got to be science. You know what I mean? There's two things I know about children's literature in the 21st century.
Some of those older kids' books are kind of creepy, like the Grimm's fairy tales and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, horrible. I mean, like OG Cinderella, like her sisters were like cutting their feet off and shit.
Yeah, they cut.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Parts of their big old chunks of foot meat. Let's hit some news. What do you say, Barry? FBI says St. Louis serial killer connected to at least 6 deaths since September. We've talked about this on the show. FBI was working on the case, is the last thing we really knew. Multiple fatal shootings, including one that claimed the life of a 16-year-old girl, have been linked to a 25-year-old man who is now facing a bevy of charges in St. Louis and St. Louis County. Perez Reed has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of armed criminal action, and another count of assault. Police are applying for 2 additional murder charges as well. So, weird if it's actually this guy and that's the end of it, because he's not your typical serial killer looking type, but who knows? They picked a really scary picture of him.
So how do we know that he's tied? Like, have they presented any like evidence yet?
No, actually, when I originally read this, I don't even think his name was out yet.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, this was exploding just the other day, maybe 2 days ago. I put this in the prep. We've just got some evidence that would indicate that the same perpetrator or perpetrators may have been involved in these incidents. One of those was the ballistics. It was the same gun.
Oh, dang.
In like the first 3 attacks. So, like immediately, like the ballistics, like no, there's no way that there's 2 people doing the exact same kind of thing with this like same. I mean, it was like absolutely the same gun. So I would assume that the ballistics are going to be a big deal. There wasn't enough information to describe the killings as serial in nature initially, but then I think that's what they're saying is that it became a series later, and I think because of those ballistics, I believe we did good. I believe we took a violent predator off the street. These appear to be random acts, so he was obviously upset about something. That was the thing, is that they were so unconnected. You know what I mean? The victims were completely unconnected. It wasn't like it was all people involved in one thing of any type, really.
How far apart are the killings?
Uh, they were like 1 week in September, I think. It was like September 15th, 16th, 19th, 20th.
Dang.
Are the dates I'm seeing throughout this article here. So, yeah, I saw that. We had to follow up on it. Yeah, they picked a picture of him that makes him look like a black Charles Manson. Like he's got a moon tattoo on his face and he's squinting really weird. So, I mean, maybe he always looks like this, but I don't know. It's hard to know. We'll see. I'm hoping the trial will be somewhat transparent. Speaking of crimes, dealer admits to selling fentanyl-laced counterfeit drugs that killed Mac Miller and faces 20 years in prison.
Dang.
That's sad story.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, that's still, I mean...
And he was really hitting a really beautiful place in his career.
Such an awesome dude.
Those drugs, though, I mean, he was, what, 27 when he...
He's actually 26.
He was younger, yeah.
Yeah, he was 26.
I mean, because you can't be doing pills like that for a long time. Like, I think even little Xan is off of Xan.
Little Xan, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't just keep doing pills heavy like that, right?
No, it's just bad.
I don't know anyone who's like, man, I've been doing pills for 37 years. Like that, I don't think it has that longevity. I mean, you have internal organs in your body.
I don't know. There's some people that just... They got the genetics to live. Like there's this dude who's like, it's like cigars and whiskey every day his whole life. He's like 90 something years old. Perfectly healthy.
Perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll find the name.
I don't know if anyone who's 90 is perfectly healthy.
Okay, not perfectly, but you know, he's living longer than most.
You know this person?
Hell, no.
No.
No, that's the video I saw, and I'm gonna find the dude's name now.
That's funny. It's funny, Barry.
It's funny. I'm gonna find the name.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I found a picture of him.
Oh, yeah? Do you have like some copy you can read while I pee real quick?
Oh, yeah. I'll find something.
Yeah, this is a test, Barry.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
I need you to talk to the people. This is a pee-friendly podcast. And sometimes that's inconvenient.
This is okay.
So you're talking about, what, he's 90?
Oh, no, he's 111.
He's 111?
Yeah. Okay, it's this is an article. It's from the Dallas Morning News. So he's 111. America's oldest veteran is still smoking cigars, drinking whiskey, and loving life. And his name's Richard Overton. Says he smokes 12 cigars a day. He eats grits for breakfast, spends his days on the front porch of his Austin home. Oh, man. I just don't know how you could do that. Like cigars and whiskey every day. I'd be getting that acid reflux. Dang. He's our nation's oldest veteran. He was born in 1906. Dang. That's how, like, when my dad's dad was born. Which makes him old, too. He's not alive anymore, but he would have been around the same age if he was. Yeah, Overton. Richard Overton. Yeah, that's pretty...
That old son of a bitch.
111.
So what did I miss? What's the secret? What should I start doing? Is it the turmeric?
Yeah, no secret. Just whiskey and cigars, I guess. Keeping it simple.
I was trying to cut back on those two things.
You know, maybe it's just a fluke. He's just...
Well, and that's what I was thinking. Like, there's got to be a combination of gene pools that would yield longevity, right?
I mean, there must be. Like,
you know, you take like a population that's has very low incidence of dementia, and then you breed them with a population that has very low incidence of cancer or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how genetics works.
You don't know about genetics?
Not like
you don't know about plants. You don't know about genetics? I don't know if this is going to work out, Barry.
I'm sorry. I was never meant to be a scientist.
Man, there's this podcast I'd never listened to before called Drink Champs. Apparently, Kanye West is friends with these guys.
Oh yeah,
it's like a B-list rapper and famous DJ, and they have a podcast together, and they drink with celebrities or whatever. I didn't mean B-list to be mean. But it sounded that way. But Kanye West, of all people, went on and actually did 2 episodes. He was on last week and this week, and he was full manic. I don't know if you know me. I'm a huge Kanye fan.
Oh, yeah.
And not in spite of the mania, the bipolar mania. Some highlights include his feelings about Big Sean and John Legend and how they are in bed with the establishment Democrats and how we haven't seen Kamala since the election. He kept saying that. He said they got a 90% of the black female vote. You would have thought Drake was running. And apparently they're not actually divorced, him and Kim. They just announced that she was filing for divorce, but apparently he's never seen the papers. And it was wild as shit. It was 3 hours of that. And, you know, he would say things like, meanwhile, I didn't get this job at Gucci, and we're blood of Christ. We're blood of Moses. And I'm like, whoa.
Dang, he's just, I don't know, it makes for great art.
Oh my God, it was good. And that's the thing, I love the music. Talk to me a little bit about that. I mean, you're younger than me, so you're maybe even deeper into just the cultural saturation of Kanye West. I mean,
you know, I think that he's made a really huge impact in like the way that music is produced. He kind of changed the game a little bit when he was coming out with some of that stuff early on. Sorry. Your cat's giving me some love over here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They hate this show. The cats are on a mission to destroy my show. They shit on the floor once during the middle of the show.
Dude, that's what they do.
And so, yeah, that's kind of my thing is like, I mean, I like the music a lot. You know, so, I mean, the hits. But I think, like, Yeezus is probably my favorite album.
Mm-hmm.
Like Blood on the Leaves and, like, New Slaves. Like, those are, like, my favorite Kanye of all time. But, I mean, I just love his development of... He makes me want to get an MPC really bad. Sampler drum thing. That the hip-hoppers like to use.
Dude, those are cool. I was actually just looking at some of those. Just like a bunch of pads.
Well, and it's just like the sampling. You can edit the exact length of your sample and fit it into a tempo. And I mean, you could do it all live in that thing.
Right.
And they're not expensive like the ones where they used to be thousands of dollars. And they're just not. Like a brand new one is like $1,000 of the latest model. That it's like standalone still, but
wow.
Yeah, it's got a crazy screen on it. And it's standalone. Like, you can use it with your computer or you could use it standalone. So you can, like, he was talking about, like, you know, I was in the Mercer
nice.
with a Don Juan snapback and I was chopping up Otis on my MacBook. And the whole thing was like that. It was really great. It was a lot about fashion. I guess he spends a lot of his time there. He's traveling right now. He's purposefully homeless. He's staying at Elon Musk's house for a month coming up, apparently.
Yo, that's... nuts.
So we're in a simulation. I do want to say one thing. I did get called out about this. You hear me say all the time that the tragedy of Harambe being executed is really when I feel like around the time, it's a good mark in time, you know, for when we split off into this version of the timeline that we're still experiencing, and I'm not thrilled about it.
Yeah, man.
It was around the same time, you know, there was the 2016 election. David Bowie had just died. I mean, it was a dark period. You know, we lost Prince.
That was a bad year.
It was heavy, brother, and I don't think we've ever recovered.
No.
But acknowledging that, I did also say that sometimes I like videos of the Cincinnati Zoo hippos on TikTok, and I just want to apologize for not making that connection. I did get called out by a listener for he's like, you're watching the Cincinnati Zoo on TikTok? That's who killed Harambe. And I said, Jesus fucking Christ, you're right.
Oh no.
Those hippos are propaganda agents. They're bad actors.
Propaganda hippos.
Propaganda hippos.
That sounds like a math rock band.
Yeah, I'm in bands with worse names than that. That's for sure.
How many bands are you in right now?
Too many. I don't even count anymore. It's really just, I mean, you know, the band is still continuing if they call me and we book something.
That's pretty nice.
It's hard. I mean, you know, it's a lot going on. This whole doing it full time thing. And that's, you know, part of why the shows have been 2 weeks apart. is just gigging it into the ground. I gigged yesterday and then went to a dinner party.
Where'd you play yesterday?
Faith Church.
Oh, nice.
But we were playing our secular jams. They wanted to have a little family-friendly top 40 non-sacred option for just the end of this conference they were doing there. There were hundreds of cars. It was crazy. This big mega church thing. I don't know. I got in bed with the wrong people. That's the business for me, I think. I need to head that way.
Like church bands?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the church thing. I mean, it's a top-notch facility.
That's nice.
I mean, I don't know if they pay musicians, so a lot of churches don't pay guitar players because you really don't need to.
Why not?
Because you can get one for free. There's one that's already going to be there. There's always going to be a guy there who's like, I got a Schecter at home. And I noticed the worship team doesn't have a guitarist. I mean, you wouldn't have to pay me. I would just sit in and just donate the time, for the Lord.
I know that guitar. It's a black Schecter
He's got
Diamond
the black
Series.
Quilted maple top, like silver burst black with like the pearloid binding.
Oh, yeah.
Full trim, brother. Locking Floyd, brother. Maybe a Sustainiac. Maybe it's the Sinister Gates signature.
Dude, with the bats?
Yeah, with the bats on it.
With the bats.
And then he's up there playing his G, and because G is for God. And
G. Yeah. I was just watching School Rock the other day.
yeah, G. I pulled up, and speaking of McDonald's, those fuckers, I pulled up in a drive-through window at McDonald's the other day, and the guy went, "Oh my God, are you Jack Black?" I said, "That's not even. I'm 3 feet taller than him. Like, what are we?"
What?
I know. I pulled up in the window, and the kid in the window said, "Oh my God, are you Jack Black?" I said, "Listen, bitch. Can I do Apple Pay? And can we get out of here? I haven't had a Diet Coke in 9 minutes. I'm about to freak out." It's stressful up there at the McDonald's.
Dude, yeah, the other day, I pulled up to the window to order your food, and they didn't say anything for like 15 minutes. I waited for a long time before I was like,
That's the new thing they do is they won't even take your order until they feel like they're ready for it, which I think is weird. I personally would want to get those people committed to the idea that their food is being made as early as possible so they stay in line and they actually end up paying. Plenty of people leave that line. Like if you sit, and sometimes I'll be backed all the way up to the entrance, and I'm like, half these people are not staying. About 5 of these cars are going to say, "Fuck this, I'm going to Wendy's."
Oh, Wendy's, man.
Wendy's is good. Wendy's is good as a bitch.
You gotta dip them fries in the Frosty.
Ooh.
That's the way to do it every time. That spicy chicken.
The spicy nuggets in the Frosty, bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even. Oh, Barry, talk to me about Astroworld.
Man, that really sucked. I feel like people.
So it was a whole festival?
Yeah.
And
it was
and Travis
festival.
Scott was sponsoring it and putting it on. It was his festival.
Yeah, it was his thing.
And it looked like it was oversold.
It was just packed.
That's what I mean.
Just
I saw like video of people walking past like the gates where people were for the crowd or whatever, and they were just spilling over these barriers. I'm like, maybe we should back them out a little bit. Like, what's the?
They didn't have the resources or the planning. Like they didn't.
So here's some of the stuff I heard.
planners.
At least 8 people died.
Yeah, and a couple other people have died since.
Several of them were like stomped on and trampled and like moshed to death.
Yeah.
Also, I heard a weird thing that a security guard got stabbed with a needle and then had to be resuscitated with Narcan.
I heard stuff about that, but I don't know.
And so that was one of the things that people were like, maybe it was like an organized attack that somebody drugged a bunch of people in this mosh pit, and that's why they went down, and that's why they couldn't get them back up, and they got trampled.
I mean, yeah, but there was also just this whole, he could have stopped the show,
And I've also seen stuff that, when you're wearing in-ear monitors, you may not hear people screaming at you at the thing, but also, why didn't security stop the show?
Nobody, I don't know. Nobody intervened, and he was, he had everybody put their middle fingers in the air, and it was just oh, come on, man. There's like an ambulance visible. Like,
oh, there was an ambulance out, and the show kept going.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
No, not at all. And he's like stopped shows before when somebody like stole his shoes when he was crowd surfing. And he stopped a show over that, but this, and then some people died. It's just like.
So I thought you said you had a lot on this.
Yeah, I mean.
Do you feel like that's a lot?
Maybe not a ton.
I mean, you feel like we covered it, though? I'm not married to it. There's other stuff to talk about. We're doing great on time. We're almost 40 minutes in.
Oh, yeah. We can keep going.
You want to keep cranking?
Yeah.
There's this movie you got to go watch. We watched it on some app for free. It was called The Gay Deceivers.
What was that?
It's from 1969. And so it starts off with these two young gentlemen going to the draft office for Vietnam and presenting as very flamboyantly homosexual, trying to use that as a way to get out of having to go to Vietnam in the draft. And it works, but then it turns into this whole thing where they have to keep pretending to be gay because the lieutenant recruiter guy keeps checking in on them, and hilarity ensues. It's really, really, really fun.
I'm gonna have to check it out. What did
Really
you say you
funny.
watched it on?
Oh, it's like on Voodoo or fucking T-Box or some shit. I'll find you a link before you leave.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really good. Go watch that. That's your homework. Also, last night I watched Thanksgiving for the first time.
Oh,
I was at a dinner party with some girlfriends, and one of them is getting married, and my wife is in the inner circle of people involved in helping the wedding happen. I don't want to say she's a bridesmaid because I don't think there's like a wedding party like that, but she's one of those type of figures in the wedding. So she got a gift from the bride to be, and it happened to be a DVD box set of Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving 3.
that is amazing.
Because there is no Thanksgiving 2.
Wait, why not?
They made a sequel and they called it Thanksgiving 3. I guess they wanted to accelerate the absurdity factor with, like, Halloween 8. Nightmare on Elm Street 7. Freddy's not dead, bitch. You know what I mean? That kind of vibe.
Dude, I have all those movies. I have a box set of the Nightmare.
I love that kind of stuff. I love that whole genre of film, especially when it's ridiculous and funny. And, you ever see Zombievers?
Oh, yeah, that's another great
That's a
one.
fucking jam. I don't think I finished it. I think I fell asleep.
Have you seen Ginger Dead Man?
Yeah, that's a good one. Did you see The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot?
Yeah.
It's my new favorite movie about World War II. If you take the Bigfoot part wasn't even the most interesting part. That fucking Hitler shit was deep. And then when he gives his brother the dinosaur, I cried. When he gives his brother back the dinosaur after 70 years, I seriously, I teared up because, I got a baby brother. And if I had to kill Bigfoot, but then I lived and I got to give my brother his Brontosaurus back, dude.
That shit was so good.
But it was weird because they faked his death, but he didn't have to move. I don't know. There were some holes. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect movie. But God damn it, I love Sam Elliott.
I'm trying to think of other movies in that vein. It's like horror, but like a meme.
So Thanksgiving, if you don't know, is a really low budget film where these grown adults that are supposed to be college students, but they look much older, are going on Thanksgiving break, and they get terrorized by a demonic turkey puppet thing that comes back every so often to avenge the some kind of Native American curse or something, right? That's the backstory.
Yeah, essentially that.
It starts with a topless pilgrim running through the woods, and then she's getting chased by somebody, has a very Blair Witch kind of vibe for a minute, and then this turkey puppet pops out and says, "Nice tits, bitch," and then he kills her.
It's just terrible. It's like Muppet quality.
No,
puppets,
I mean, seriously. And the guy who's supposed to be like the hot football jock guy, he looks 37, right? So, they're supposed to be like college age, I guess, and they're, at school, and they're going home for Thanksgiving break, and they're just trying to party, and then they get terrorized by this evil turkey. And meanwhile, they're all like full adults. It's really hard to watch.
God.
in any spirit other than that of comedy. It's really good, really worth a watch. We streamed it last night because we didn't want to hook up the DVD player. That's kind of funny. You get given the DVD and you're like, oh, cool, let's stream that.
Yeah.
And really good. If you haven't seen The Gay Deceivers for Thanksgiving, check that out. Back to McDonald's. They pop up in my notes a lot. McDonald's is either one of two ways now. It's either completely abandoned, typically in the afternoon or evening, sunrise closing as early as 7 or 8 p.m. Other times running an entire store with literally only 2 employees. Or it's like a fucking episode of ER, like the most dramatic panic trailer for George Clooney's ER that you can imagine, where like I'm like, what am I witnessing? Usually around 10:30 in the morning. You know, people are screaming. There's like a dozen employees, but they're all freaking out. Like, I need to drop 2 hash browns stat. These fries are cold. We're losing him.
Dude, yeah, it's total. That's so accurate. I feel like it's either like popping or it's not.
It's either popping or it's not.
Yeah. McDonald's. Sometimes it's popping.
Do you remember like when we were kids and like Steak and Shake was the place with the long drive-through?
Oh, it still is.
Like if you were going to, well, I'm sure, but now every place is like that.
Yeah.
But you can't, nobody will let you in. Like I see people all the time trying to say, fuck this line, I'll park. These people don't want to get out of their car and walk. I'll go walk. And then the door's locked.
Dude, I'd do anything for one of them strawberry shakes. Strawberry banana.
I do love that they have the banana as an option. I'm not saying I get it every time, but I just love knowing I can, when I'm craving banana. Apparently artificial dessert banana flavoring like that is all based on the flavor profile of a banana that we actually ate completely into extinction in the 1950s.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very different tasting banana than the bananas you get on the shelf at the shop in Glock.
Well, you know, because I always thought like it doesn't really taste like a banana.
It certainly doesn't taste like the bananas you eat when you eat a fresh banana. It's a much sweeter, sort of syrupy kind of profile, and it's you can't get them; they're extinct.
I feel like watermelon.
We literally ate them all.
Watermelon flavors that way too, where it's like you taste it in a candy. It's like, what is that? Like that's what candy watermelon tastes like, but no watermelon. Tastes like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yes, the banana's going extinct. That's pretty crazy.
I'm thinking like maybe the staffing crisis, especially as it pertains to low wage earners like those in food service, is continuing in spite of a potential issue with overpopulation and its effect on the workforce, about how we can't sustain our population in terms of quality customer service. But on the other hand, we can't afford to adequately employ the numbers of people that we actually need. Like, let's just say we got people to fill every vacant job right now, and we paid them, say, $15 an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's actually possible. I think it's maybe something we're not talking about because nobody wants to talk about overpopulation. Because I'm not suggesting we kill people, right?
Like Thanos?
I'm not suggesting that. Not suggesting that at all. But you got to think about, let's just say nobody needed employees. Everybody had as many employees as they needed, and those employees felt like they had as many coworkers as they needed to make their job go the way it needs to go. And all those people were making at least $15 an hour. It's very possible the economy can't support that. Right?
Probably not.
And because to do all those things, where not only do we have everyone working where we need them, but they also are all getting what they think they are worth to make or whatever, that's too many people. We can't afford it just because of the volume. It's too many people that would have to be working there because we have too many. Like, how many Starbuckses do you know that if you built one across the street, both of them would always have a drive-through line? You know what I mean?
Right. That can't be a thing.
Lots of Starbucks. Every time I go, there's a huge line. Any time of day. The one over at Chippewa here, the little drive-through, always crazy. There's always like 5 cars in that line all day long. You could probably open another one, but you can't afford to staff it, and the overhead for a whole nother one, and that whole thing. It's like our demand for even food, because really a lot of people don't cook ever. They can't. It doesn't make sense, especially if they, are a bartender and they live by themselves. It doesn't really make sense for them to be at home spending lots of money on groceries for a big pile of food that they have to eat 4 or 5 different times. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I feel like eventually some of these jobs, though, like especially fast food kind of jobs, they're gonna be automated, like at some point, right?
I can't believe that one of the fast food chains doesn't have a kiosk, like where you just go and
Right.
it's a Taco Bell kiosk, and maybe it's the size of a Red Box, or bigger even, but like the machine can't make me a bean burrito with no onions and extra red sauce. I think I see the places on YouTube all the time where they make the pizzas with the robots.
Right. I mean, it's totally, the technology's there. It's just implementing it. Granted, though, that leaves in question the people who work fast food. Like, how can they be retrained? Like,
Or just what would they be retrained to do or reabsorbed into?
yeah, like would they like you just fire all these people? I feel like that's not ethical.
Well, you could even phase them out though, because nobody's taking their jobs when they leave.
Yeah,
You know what I
true.
mean? Well, like what they did with the police force in St. Louis City, they said we're just going to take down the 800 jobs that nobody's applied for. We're just going to not fill them.
Yeah.
So eventually,
Yeah.
I mean, especially the McDonald's I go to 3 or 4 times a day, several of them, that it would not be long at all until there's only 2 people left working there on a Friday night. And so, I mean, maybe you need one of them to refill the kiosk with mayonnaise.
I mean, you could almost have vendors that do that though and travel around to different stores.
And that's like the QT Kitchens model. Is like they
Right.
prep all that stuff at a distributor or whoever makes it for them, the catering people that populate that
Right.
food, and then they deliver it to the Quick Trip, and then at Quick Trip they heat it up and serve it. You know what I mean? I mean, all the roller shit just comes in big bags in boxes. You just dump out a satchel full of taquitos and let them sit there for 30 minutes, and they're hot and ready, baby girl.
Those are fire, and the
I love their
QT.
pretzels.
Oh yeah, those are good
Yeah,
too.
but like the cold stuff, like the wraps and shit, nobody's coming in at 2 a.m. to make Italian subs at the Quick Trip. They make 500 Italian subs on a Monday in Florissant in a warehouse, and then they drop a bunch of them off at all the different Quick Trip locations, which we need more of. Quick Trip needs to figure their life out. We need more Quick Trips.
Dude, there are a few intersections that I've seen that have a Quick Trip, a Cane's Chicken, and a White Castle, like all on separate corners.
Yeah.
There's like 3 of them in St. Louis.
Yeah, that's a good trifecta. You get some chicken rings, get some chicken strips, and get some chicken rollers, brother. You get chicken 3 ways at that intersection.
Sounds like.
So the Eye of the Sahara looks like a cinnamon roll. Do you got time to talk about this?
Oh, dude. Yeah, absolutely. This is what I'm talking about.
We were talking about this the other day at work, Barry and I. Let's explore. Oh, from NASA. Little background here. The Eye of the Sahara, also known as the, is it the Richat structure?
I think so.
In northwestern, is it Mauritania?
I think so.
It's a circular geologic feature. It's thought to be caused by an uplifted dome. Geologists would classify it as a domed anticline that has been eroded to expose the original flat rock layers. So you got to look at the Eye of the Sahara. It's a formation in the ground that looks like a giant eyeball or a fucking cinnamon roll. It's got massive deposits of salt on top of it, as if maybe it was one time under the ocean. Very exciting. What's exciting about that, Barry?
So, I started following this YouTube channel, Bright Insight. Super interesting. This guy's really smart. Talks about the Rashat structure, though, in a couple of his videos, and proposes this really interesting argument for it being the location of the ancient lost city of Atlantis. I think he proposes some interesting points on its location in regards to like what old philosophers have like said about it. I think Plato.
Yeah, they talked a lot about Plato, which is way
Right.
early in intellectual human history. And didn't he talk about some of the things he talked about were how ancient Egyptians had document of these people they refer to as these sort of like migrant refugees whose home had been lost to flooding, right?
Right.
Which from about the area where the Eye of the Sahara sits currently. And that goes into something I was telling you about how I was watching something about how the Sphinx could possibly be much older than the pyramids and how they built the pyramids around what was already there. And this whole thing of civilized humanity being much older than it's talked about being commonly. And that's kind of how we got on this subject. Right. And so that's one of the things I remember him saying Plato wrote about. Where were you going?
Oh, yeah. Just like how they talked about this place and have like a geological reference for it, like, or geolocational.
And there's tons of illustrations and whatnot of what the capital of Atlantis
was described to
look like, and it has a eerie resemblance in shape to this Eye of the Sahara structure.
And people
I want to go here. Add this to my African safari honeymoon that we're planning right now.
Oh yeah, go to it.
I want to get in a cage with a shark. I want to I don't want to eat monkey brains.
Yeah, I feel like that.
But I do want to see. I maybe want to eat at a place where that's an option.
Yeah, maybe just see it.
And then we're going to go solve this whole Atlantis thing. We're going to cinch it up. Also, there was a huge release of government documents over the course of several decades where there are studies of numerous areas around the world that are of interest, including this one. And then it said something in the study that you showed me the other day that I'd seen in this video, where it's like the findings of this study
I can pull.
are not to be classified at any point, blah, blah, blah. But then they redact like the next whole page, like huge section of it just says.
It says, while the scientific aspects of this survey are totally unclassified and available to the worldwide scientific community, blank. And then there's like a whole fat paragraph and go on to the next page that's just been whited out. They also won't name the navigation system, or it's named, but they won't tell you what kind of navigation system it is. And the project is called...
What navigation system?
Like the navigation system that they're supposedly testing for in these geomagnetic anomaly type locations. I didn't even know this was like a thing that people did.
Yeah.
And it sounds interesting.
Well, to say the least, Barry.
They did this to conduct airborne geomagnetic surveys. And
why do you do that? To look for nukes?
See, I don't think so. I mean, that's not a geomagnetic thing. And
that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking,
like
Barry.
Splitting an atom. Geomagnetic anomalies, I guess it's places where the gravity is like measuring differently, because you can measure gravity to a degree. I mean, that's how they can like navigate.
That's how we know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. It exists, but apparently these locations on the Earth are different, and it's just odd because some of them are in these eerie places. Like one is right over the Rashat structure, and they have this crazy graph over like a topological image of the Rashat structure.
And
I don't understand what it means. Like, there's a lot of things that have been whited out in the document. It seems like they released just enough to be like, there it is, but also like not going to tell you what we were actually doing or why we were doing it. It gives you the cold like numbers, even.
And so that's what they meant about. That's just so weird. They wouldn't even redact the part where they were going to just mention why they might redact something.
They made it look more like
way more suspicious than if they had just said that there's goofy shit down there.
Yeah, it just seems ridiculous.
And what do you mean navigation system?
their onboard navigation system. So the subject is okay. So from Commander Naval Oceanographic Office to Chairman Tri-Surface DAF Data Reduction Committee, Department of the Array, whatever that is.
Data Reduction Committee.
Yeah, I don't even know like what that could be.
That's hilarious.
But the subject of this was Geodetic Data Support DAF Data Reduction Program. What? I don't know what any of that means.
And
but the whole reason the Rashat structure was like, it looks like that now because like NASA told you what as a result of volcanic activity or something.
Yeah, that it had once been like a dome that had then collapsed.
Well, and maybe it that could be true, and it still could have been the.
Well, and also
location.
one thing they mentioned in that Bright something video was the volcanic activity would cause landmass, especially that would be that old, to fluctuate in height to sea level, obviously, over the course of thousands of years.
Right. And then he talks about the flooding and how it could have been a cataclysmic flood that took it out.
Yeah,
and that's
like
why there's no
like a
evidence.
fucking meteor hits a fucking glacier, and then Atlantis is underwater, and you got the sea people marching to Egypt.
The sea people, right?
Who called them that? Right? There was somebody that was calling them that. Like,
I saw some blurb on that on YouTube at some point, but there's a whole documentary about the sea people. I know that.
And that was sort of one of the ways that they were referred to by other ancient cultures.
I mean, they came from the sea,
Yeah.
you know, and they had a different way. I think they're depicted as having like kilts and stuff like that.
Kilts.
Too. Yeah.
Oh, like they were like OG Vikings, brother.
Yeah, like I think it could be possible. Descendant of, perhaps.
Man, a kilt would be convenient if you're on the beach all day.
Oh yeah.
Trying to dig your furnitures out of, I mean, you're living in a valley park of ancient Africa, just constantly underwater.
But where'd they go from there? You know?
Well, I think they bred into the civilizations that offered them refuge, and then they just kind of disappeared. I mean, this is ancient DNA we're talking about. So these people were advanced in their at least organized civilization, maybe not their technology, who knows, by the time that Egyptian civilizations caught up to where the point where they would document evidence of these people, right?
Yeah.
And who knows how long the flooding took to take place, because this whole era is under-researched because the establishment historians want to tie a bow on the ancient Egypt thing and say, this was all built at the same time, and we know everything about this, let's move on. It's challenging.
Right.
Woo, Barry!
Yeah.
Put a pin in that.
Oh yeah. Is that the outro?
That's the outro. It's probably about that time.
How long was that?
Oh, well, this comes up right when we're about to hit an hour.
Oh, sweet.
Guys, that's another episode of Jacob V Weekly. High five. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple, Podbean, Google, whatever. Please subscribe, rate, review, interact in any kind of way. Share it. Spotify's tracking shares now, so if you share an episode with somebody, that's helpful too. Love you. Keep it up. Prayer warriors. We have an Instagram page for the show at Jacob V Weekly, where we post exclusive content and clips and highlights on occasion. Please find us on Patreon. It's the only way to financially support the show, and in exchange you get exclusive, never before released content every week, things that are not available anywhere else, even for me. You can contact the show at 314-632-6602 or at jacobvweekly@gmail.com. That's 314-632-6602. Leave me a voicemail. We'll play it on the show. Original music by me on all of your platforms. Go ahead and bing it, bitches. Keep it deep.